So to start off, I wanted to talk to you about preliminary orders in custody cases. And I'm dealing with some issues relating to preliminary orders in a divorce case that I have, where people aren't following the preliminary orders and it's causing all kinds of issues. This is a case that doesn't involve custody of children, but it really kind of brought to mind for me the importance of anybody going through a case to be sure of what the preliminary orders are. So often in cases when you file paperwork, especially when it's an initial case, there are some orders that go into effect immediately. In Arizona, those orders are called preliminary injunctions. And when it relates to children, one of the preliminary injunctions are that if there's a divorce, you can't take the children out of state, that neither party can take the children out of state without written agreement or a prior court order. If it's a paternity case where the parties weren't married, if there's a birth certificate that's attached to the initial paperwork or that's, alleged to have been, well, it needs to be attached really to the initial paperwork, then neither party can take the child out of state unless there's an agreement or a court order. That's just one of the types of orders that can be issued in a case. When it relates to divorce, often the preliminary orders say neither party can start disposing of community property or hiding it or destroying it or doing anything, that would compromise the other party's ability to get value from that or draw upon that. Now, parties in Arizona can use like money, for example, in a bank account for reasonable and necessary expenses like supporting themselves, or if there's a business involved, they can use money that are reasonable and necessary in, making sure that that business continues to operate. But you have to, the point is, review the preliminary orders that are issued in your case. Another very important preliminary order that is issued in cases in Arizona when there are children involved is the order that both parties have to take a parent information class. I think that probably this is an order in a lot of states. In Arizona, if the parties don't abide by that order and don't take the parent information class, then they're often stopped from asking the court for relief as it relates to child custody matters in the future. And usually you'll find a judge who's really unhappy if you didn't follow the court's order and take a parent information class. So always review all of the paperwork in your case. That's the bottom line. Review paperwork when you file a case, review and read it carefully, read the fine print to make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. Often preliminary orders say that you can't start changing around insurances and removing kids from insurances. If you're married, you can't, generally start removing the other party from the insurance. At least that's what the orders say in Arizona. It may be different in your state. Follow those orders, because if you don't follow the orders, then guess what? And then the other party can ask the court to have you held in contempt of court for not following the preliminary orders. And that will not look so good. And if you're found in contempt and there's an attorney on the other side, then you could end up paying that attorney's fees and costs, which is never a good thing.